All right, we're good to go.
Welcome, everyone. This is class number one, 3D Fox Blender Tips, the posing edition. So pretty much all we're gonna be doing today is I'm gonna be walking through, showing you how you can get Blender. Uh, we're gonna rig our Fox in what's called mixamo, and then I'm gonna show you how to pose it. So it's really like three steps with like a little bit of stuff in between each step. So first we're gonna start with the Blender. So, oops, not this one, the website. All right, so in order to get Blender, you wanna go to blender.org. I'm on the download stage, but the first page will look something like this. So pretty much, they own Blender 3.5 now, and the last thing I had was 3.4. So it's just saying they added some new features. Not really much you had to worry about right now because we're not gonna be doing anything with this stuff. But maybe later in a later session. But yeah, so Blender's free. It's open source. It's that's the most beautiful thing about it. It's a easy software to get in terms of it being free. Not that big of a file as you see, 277 megabytes. And so I have Windows, so of course I'm going to go ahead and click here, download the Windows version, save it somewhere in the downloads. Boom. All right, so that's downloading. I'm literally going through this because let me close this Blender out. Because I want to update pretty much. So yeah, this new one is just saying they got some new stuff for like fur and hair and all that, and then some other tools I think. But I guess this is the biggest thing because I was explaining to Ben. So within Blender they have what's called geometry nodes. Geometry nodes help with what's called procedural editing. And look at procedural editing as anything that's a very tedious task that, it takes a lot of like finding, refining, moving, and everything like that. And with the geometry nodes, it allows for you to like generate stuff or manipulate stuff on a across the board without having to, do those little tedious step by steps. So hair, realistic hair being one. Like if you're looking at this right here, imagine having to put this together, like all these little strands of hair, bending them, twisting them, placing them. That would take who knows how long. So with something like this, it just makes it more seamless, easier process. All right, so cool. So we got this up. I'm gonna run through this setup. So like you would just open the download file now that you downloaded. Of course, accept the terms. You should read first. I'm signing my life away because I'm not gonna read all this right now. But don't be like me. And so next, and then next again. Install on the system. Then install. So now we're gonna wait. Let it run through this process. And yeah, all right, cool. Let's see, Stitching Blender Foundation. Okay, don't steal my soul. That's all I'm concerned with. All right, so it's creating the files needed. And I'm giving Blender my trust in this situation. So finished up. All right, cool. So it says it's done. Let's see, Blender. Let's see, should be the new one. That's it. For some reason, I don't think it like uninstalls the old one. I had a situation where I like opened a few different files. I feel like it was the older version. Yeah, see, like this is 3.1. That's not what I want. All right, where is the new one? Give me a second, guys. Got a lot of stuff going on here. I don't know what this is. This looks like 3D Pringles, but I just chose a random desktop. Okay, here we go. Blender 3.5. See, 3.4 is still here. I think I need to uninstall it. I'll do that later though. All right, cool. We open it. It automatically created a shortcut on the desktop. So here we go. Select with left or right, spacebar. So these are just, I guess, a few settings when you first start. I'm going to load my 3.4 settings. just so it's in the same ballpark as what I'm used to. You can really choose whatever you want. You can mess with the theme, everything. All right, so this is what Blender looks like when you first open it up. You'll by default get this cube. You'll have this camera here, and you can kind of pan around the environment, move around. There's this light here, default lighting. Normally, like you can delete all that if you want. Normally, the only thing that I'll delete is like this cube start. And this circle here with the crosshairs, that's what's called the origin point. So wherever this origin point is, that's where pretty much whatever you import, should go here. Or start from here. But sometimes according to how they created the file, like if it's floating in the air up here, it might be floating in the air. But it should still be somewhat like centered with the origin point. And then every so often you'll have something that's like a large file, and then you gotta zoom out and just to find it. But that's just because of how the person created it. So all right, with this cube here, I would click it and then press X on the keyboard. X is what brings up, that's delete in Blender, X. So like if you click it and you hit delete itself, it will do it. But the short, well, I guess either or doesn't matter. But X by default is the delete in Blender. All right, cool. So we got rid of that now, right? All right. So the next thing you're gonna want to do is I'll just go to let's see, pool.pm. I don't know.
You can save the FBX from the website.
What's that?
You can save the FBX from the website.
Oh, from that website too? Okay, oh well, we're here now. So all right, so just go to my Foxes in this wallet. All right, cool. Let's just choose, well, of course, let's just use 4042. All right, so you will go to pool.pm. Ben said you can go to the site as well to get your file, but this is what we're gonna use this time. We're gonna use the FBX file. So you wanna click that, pop up your download, save it wherever. I'll just save it in the downloads for now. I'm gonna rename it just to make it easy to find. Oops, 4041. All right, save. All right, cool. So now that's downloaded. Cool. All right, now the next step, we're actually gonna move to Mixamo. So Mixamo, let me log out first, is a software developed by Adobe. Now, to use this, you need an Adobe account, but this is also free. Adobe just wants you to have an account to log in. So, all right, so cool. After you've signed up and everything, you get through that process. It's pretty this is simple, like anything else you signed up for. You want to log in, but if you've done it, it should automatically log you in. But cool, so we log in, and this is what it'll look like when you load it up. Now, over here, see, it's got this fox in there from last time. But over here, these are all animations, so I'll just use this one since it's here. It's like kind of like to show you like pretty much like it's automatic inside of Mixamo. But the only problem with Mixamo, say for example with our foxes, is as you can see how the tail moves back there. Mixamo was designed for humanoid characters, and although our fox is humanoid, has arm, legs, everything on standing on his hind legs, it has a tail. So when we do the rigging, sometimes that gets caught up. So I don't normally, some of these I'll use, to do stuff like, see that it doesn't look bad or anything, but it's more advanced to like create your own rig. But in our case, it would probably be best to create our own rig if you want to do something very, very technical for his movements and you're concerned with like say how this tail is poking out. But it doesn't do that in all of them. Some of them look fine. So pretty much you could utilize this if you just wanted to get a slight animation for your fox and wanted to download the animation. You could also put this in the Blender. But today we're just gonna be focused on simply rigging it, doing the auto rig. So never mind any of that. I'm just gonna go to upload character. So that's on the right hand side here. After you click that, you'll get select characters. So I'm gonna go to the download. Where are we? Let me see if I just type it in. 4042. I don't know if this works like this, but okay, it did. Cool. All right, so then yeah, find your file, upload it, and it goes through this just a short amount of time. Upload process, and then now we have to go through what's called the auto rigger. And so it starts off just showing you your fox, then you hit next. And now we have to place these points. So starting with the chin, you'll line this up somewhere around where the chin is at. Take these for the wrist. It uses symmetry, so wherever you put it on one side, that's exactly where it'll be on the other. So that's why it's important for the origin point and everything that I mentioned earlier to be lined up in the middle for whatever 3D asset. Because then when it comes in here, it's like, as you can see, this is perfect, like right in the middle. So then after that, we got elbows. I always like to put it like somewhere up in here. We got the knees. I'm gonna place that here. And then the groin, which is up in here. So after that, you hit next. Now the auto rigger does its own thing. It pretty much just it uses their system, however they set up their algorithm, like it says on the right, to determine the points and make the skeleton within the 3D model. Because you need the skeleton in order to do the animations. Uh, but yeah, this normally takes a little bit longer than the upload, so just let it run. It's not too bad. It says up to 2 minutes. I feel like it's somewhere around there, sometimes shorter. So now it's uploading. Again, process upload. All right, cool. So it's been rigged, and because they have this preview animation. So I hit next. It says your 3D character has been uploaded. Proceed with this new character. You can select this in the bottom left so it doesn't tell you this every time. And it's just telling me like the last character I had in there is gone or will not be saved. So I don't think they have like a library for you to save them. If they do, I'm not aware of it. So then you would hit next. So after you do that, I'm not going to click any of these because if I click any of these, they'll put an animation on it. And I don't want an animation connected to it. I just want the skeleton and the rig. So I don't think I need to wait for that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit download. So when I go here, you see they got the formats here. So different types of FBX. I always just leave it on its default binary. They got something for Unity. I guess the difference between these will probably be something along the lines with the shading and the materials that are left in on the Fox when you bounce it out. Because when you export from Blender, like there's different settings for like what type of FBX, and then I've noticed by messing with different ones that sometimes it might have one where like it takes all the colors away or all the texture from the jacket and it's just like solid stuff like that. So I'll just leave it on this binary, and then you would hit download. So this is downloading the FBX file now with the skeleton within it. So the one we had that we downloaded was just T-posed. Now you can, like I said a little bit earlier, you can set up your own rig, and that'll be a whole nother episode or something that we can do, or session rather, where we can look into that. So what is this? No, something's not right. I don't know why it's saying Pro Melee. Pose 30 seconds. See, this is what I was talking about. But it's like it's picking up the last thing that I had on that animation from the last Fox, but that's not what I want. Mm, Yeah, I normally don't click any of these before I do anything, but I don't know why I would leave the animation on there. It's from the last model. It's like it just applied it to it. Well, I know what to do for this anyway, but so you'll learn this. It's cool. You'll just be able to see like what to do in case you do click that. But normally you would just upload it in. Then when you go straight to download after you upload it in, and then you add a file. This is still gonna have a skeleton, but if this is like on here, it'll have whatever that melee animation attached to it. So I'm actually gonna move this to here, create a new file, a new folder rather, just so I know where to go. 3D box tutorial. Save it here. Cool, whatever. So that's downloaded. So because that's like a zip file or something, like I guess it's got multiple animations in it. Um I'm gonna have to go to this folder that I just made that I need to find. Let's go back to this. Yeah, I need to. I clean my desktop at least once a week almost. It gets messy. A lot of files. All right, cool. Here we go. So in this situation, I need to extract it. You wouldn't normally have to do this, but I mean, you just get to see, like, in case you ever. Oh wow. All right, so this actually has. Wow. This has I believe this should be just the T-Rig alone. But for some reason, it's downloaded all these extra. And these are all just animations. There are a bunch of different animations within this folder. I had to figure out why I did that, but I'm not sure right now. All right, so cool. But anyway, so it's downloaded now. We downloaded from mixamo, and now we're gonna want to import it into Blender. So we would go back to Blender, then we're gonna go to File. From File, you would go to Import, and then we're gonna look for FBX, which is like towards the bottom, like 4 up from the bottom. So you click that. Now we need to go find that folder again, 3D Fox tutorial. I saved it on my desktop. Go here. Then I'm gonna save this one. All right, cool. So as you see, we got the 4042 and the T-pose with this right here. Inside of Blender, this is called an armature. But just remember armature, skeleton, rig, all the same thing we're talking about. And then right now in the view mode, the reason why he's silver, or like that color, is because we're in this mode up here in this right hand corner. These are different view modes in Blender. So you got this one, which is like the wireframe that just shows like you can see through it, see the skeleton, see everything. And then you have this one, this is the viewport shading. Then you have Eevee, which is this one. Now we can see the color, but this isn't as detailed. So like in order to see the details of this last one, which this last one is called cycles, we actually would need to go here to the render settings, which is right over here, one down. Go to render engine and then cycles. So now when we go to click this, like the light. So pretty much in cycles, the difference between cycles and Eevee is like stuff like the lighting. So the way the light bounces off and creates these different effects like shadows and all that, you need to be in cycles in order to do that. So otherwise it would just look like this, no shadows, just clean render. And this is cool too. You can do some stuff with this. It renders faster and loads easier when you're in this mode. But anyway, all right, cool. So now we got 4042 in here. So he's pose. What I want to do is now I want to click this armature. So now it's highlighted. Just that skeleton's highlighted. Now up here in this left hand corner, you have the different modes, like object mode. That's this regular mode where we can do different things, move stuff around, set the scene up, all that good stuff. Then you have edit mode, which within edit mode, you kind of can start to manipulate certain portions of the object and everything like that. Like you see it move down to that, for some reason it goes down to this space. I think this is like the original pose. So whenever you go to edit it, it moves into that original pose. Then you have the pose mode. Pose mode is what we need. Pose mode is, of course, exactly how it sounds is for posing. So, all right, now if I do this, like I just click this up here. This like helps with transparency as well, like seeing through the object. But in this case, it's not making it necessarily see through. It's just allowing us to see what the armature is. All right, so we see how the armature is set up. You know, simple. Got this top piece. Got a neck. The neck is like up in here. Different bones in the arms. You got these different pieces here that you can manipulate that. All right, so now, right now I have like the whole thing selected. So if I select one, I can select these individually, like according to if I want to manipulate one thing by one. But if I hit A, that selects all. Within this mode is only selecting the armature because that's all it works with in pose mode. And if you look down here on our timeline, you have these two dots. So this is actually how animations are done. We're not going to touch too much on this, but animations are done down here with keyframes. So like if you move stuff, you can like set a frame, like say the start of this pose, and then say you move the arm down and then you set it here. This will actually have that arm tick, 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 tick move down by itself, like according to how you set the frames. But so for now, I kind of just want to get rid of these. So I right clicked it and then I clicked delete keyframes, those orange things that were on the scene or on the screen. So yeah, so pretty much now we're in pose mode. I've deleted the animation from the timeline, which was just pretty much like holding it in the pose. And the reason you want to do that is because if you leave that there and then you set a pose and then you hit the space bar, it'll put it automatically back in the T pose. And then whenever you render like the image or video or whatever that you're trying to do, it's only going to render that T pose because that's the only thing on the timeline. But if you delete it, it'll just use whatever is there, like as far as the pose. And then if you're getting into animation itself, then you'll need to set new keyframes. But like I said, that's a whole nother thing. So we're not gonna focus on that. We're just focusing on posing. All right, so now, all right, say I want to move this arm down. So I would click this bone here, right? Part of the arm. Over here, we got the different tools. You got the move tool, rotate, scale, transform, annotate, measure, and breakdowner. I don't even know what that is. It says create a suitable breakdown pose. Don't worry about that. So right now we're going to use rotate. So if I want this arm to come down, I got this rotate tool up. This one is on, I believe, the y-axis or, so if I move this, boom, now we start to get this arm, can come up and down. And as you can see, like you could probably see in your mind, like how this will work for animating. Cause like literally you would like move it to a place and then you could like hit A and hold on, wait. I actually want to show you, even though we're not going into animation, I just want to show you how it works. So, all right, to start out, I'm going to say click one bone, then I hit A. So now this is all selected. Then if I right click on the bones, and then I go to insert keyframe at the top, or the hotkey or shortcut key rather is I. If you just would have hit I, it will pull up this. So now what I want to do is click location, rotation, and scale. That means that it's saving the position where it's at, the rotation that it's at, and the scale that it's at in this keyframe. So if I hit that, you'll see this little frame popped up over here. Now I can move this over to 10, right? And so if I go back and click this bone now, and I move this down like that, now I do the same thing again. I hit A to select all. I'm gonna press the shortcut key for I just to get to that same box quicker without having to right click. Location, rotation, and scale again. Now it's at a new keyframe, right? So if I go back here and I hit spacebar, you see it moves down by itself. And now you can play with that, as far as spacing and everything to make it like more realistic movements. That takes some knowledge and like into like frames per second and stuff like that. Cause like films shoot at certain frames per second and videos and stuff like that to get a certain movement feel within the video, right? So that's a whole nother thing. So like if I would have put it here to 30, it probably would have had a smoother like move, but it's automatic, So just to show you pretty much how that works. But yeah, we won't get too much into that. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. All right, so now we're back at this point. So I don't need a keyframe for what we're doing because I already deleted the original. So all right, so just yeah, like I said, so you can go in here, you can move this down, you can move this one up, you know, move down, you know, you get the gist. It's pretty simple from here. Like you can really just start to play around and like if I wanted him to do something like this, like putting his head back and forth, like, I would just do what I showed you with the keyframes, like put it to one side, then move the bar over, set another one, moving to the other side. Now you'll just have an animation of them moving left to right. So, but yeah, so like you can really get in here and like you can move the hand, uh, you know, you wanted them facing up, like so, stuff like that. Like maybe you wanted to have your fox carrying something, so you go have it like this. Can make the head nod down. But you see what's going on with this tail back here. So that goes back into what I was telling you about mixamo. So that's one of the flaws with mixamo and using it for the rig. But for the most part, you won't have too many issues. Like that doesn't look terrible. Like you know what I mean. If you wanted to do something like this, I don't even understand why it's affecting that because there's no bones in this. It's just, but somehow, so I know when you T rig, like if you do it from the start point, like you make your own, there is something called weights. So I believe it has to do something with that. Like the weight of this bone, I guess, is like it's reaching the tail because I'm guessing the weight is like the space by which it whatever it affects. Um, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, like you could do something like this. You can mess with the legs, bring this up. And then so like the cool thing is I'm gonna put like another like random like GLB file or something in because I have like a bunch. So I go back over the file. You import a GLB file the same way you do the FBX. You just had to find GLB, which is here. It says GLB/GLTF. So I'm gonna go to that. I think they're in my document. So I got a bunch of GLB. So I'm gonna find like a car. So this is like a random car. All right, so it's pretty big. So I'm gonna scale it down. So Blender has this like thing when you're scaling stuff. Like sometimes it's probably a way you can change the settings to mess with it, but it'll like either flip sometimes and stuff like that. So all right, so now I just added this in. So I'm back in object mode. Now, the beauty of an armature when you have this in here is that you don't have to worry about trying to select all the different pieces in your model because right now, like 4042 has shades, so there's shades there, the eyeballs are separate, the jacket is separate. But if I click this armature now and I hit something like G is for grab inside of Blender. So if I hit G to grab it, then I'm gonna hit Z for it to just move up and down the Z axis, which is up and down. So now like I can move them up and down without even having to worry about grabbing all that stuff. So I'm gonna just like I'm gonna float them above. That looks kind of cool. That would be a cool action scene. I'm jumping out the car like like it's about to crash. But yeah, so anyway, all right, I got it selected again. So I'm gonna go back to pose mode. And then I'm gonna move this. Oops, didn't mean to turn that. So I'm just zooming in and out by the way when to mess with the camera. So I'm gonna bring this up like the other one and then bring this down. Now he's kind of like in a more sitting position. So now I can say all again to grab the whole skeleton, then G again to grab it, Z for it to just move up and down the axis. All right, so and then you can like really play with it and and get him kind of G. I'm pressing G, then I press Y this time for him to move across the Y axis. G again, X for him to move left to right. And, you know, this is really something you can just, fool around with till you get it to the point you want. Um, so just pretty much like this is like the gist of what goes into posing within inside of Blender. It's not that difficult. The thing where it gets more technical is when you setting up the scene, the lighting and all that type of stuff, which I think that's what we'll go over the next time we do one of these. Maybe just the lighting. So like if I wanted to make them smaller, like I could press A to select the whole thing, then I hit S for scale, and now I can kind of like make them a little smaller. So that like, takes the whole thing. And then you actually can you can mess around with this tail to move it. I'll show that in another one too. Via this sculpting. So like is it sculpting? Well, we're in edit mode right now, so you can't do it while you're in that mode. So gotta make sure I'm in object mode. Select the mesh itself, which is the whole fox. You can click the tail just to make sure you got that portion. If I go to sculpting, I'm just briefly touching on this. They got different tools in here. All these tools do different things for like molding the clay, if you will, like to changing the clay around. So they have this grab tool here. So like if I wanted to like move this tail like somehow, I can like kind of start to fool with it that way, and get it to however I want to. You get what I'm saying? Like you can mess around with it to move it if you wanted it like just sitting behind them, but then you see it's messing with the whole thing. Like you see what it does. You can really like manipulate your fox in here too, kind of change it up a bit if that's what you wanted to do. But yeah, so like that's pretty much it really as far as posing goes. Like then the limit is the sky in terms of your imagination, like how you want to pose it, what if you want to put your fox inside of something, if you just want to do some cool like, stances or whatever, like posing is like very, very just a few steps as you saw. And we used a few different things to do it, just two things really. I mean, after we downloaded Blender, just mixamo and then we put it inside of here and then it's ready to, fool around with. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If anybody got any questions, I'll open it up. Let y'all ask anything if y'all want to see anything in particular. But I didn't want to hold on, wait. I see Ivana has a question. We got a couple things in here. You are uploading the model only in Mixamo. Yeah, so I uploaded the FBX file into Mixamo. Um, in order to get the skeleton, I'm just referencing back your question. So we needed to do that before we put it in the blender because the FBX file that we have is T-posed, but it's not rigged, meaning they don't have the skeleton built into it. Um, the GLB file has an animation. It has a skeleton associated with it. We might. I'm going to try something next time with that when I want to see something. But we might be able to do something with what they've created. In order to make the fox move. I kind of have at the time when I first learned this stuff. I didn't really understand the GLB situation if it had an animation on it. I didn't even understand how to delete it. So now I do. So we might be able to do something better with that one, but we'll check into that next time. Let's
Yeah,
see.
that could be a good
What?
option because the GLBs are already fully rigged, and I know that the tail has its own skeleton as well, so that could be a
Okay.
good to try out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, let me see. That won't take that long. Let me see. So,
Yeah, GLB you cannot download from Pool PM. This time you need the website.
let's go
Yeah.
look at the good old Bad Fox website.
Yeah. Top right
So,
on
what
the
do I do
wallet.
now? Do I need to connect my wallet? What do I need to do?
Yeah, wallet.
Okay. Cool. So, when you got it loaded up, guess I'm going to here. I'll go here. Oh, wow. Wow, this is nice. I never checked this out. All of this. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
All right.
just recent.
Cool, cool. So, all right, cool. The GLB file. So I'm gonna go. I just save it in this folder that I was using earlier, the 3D Fox tutorial. So bam, that's saved. Download it. All right, now I'm just gonna get rid of all of this. Select all of it. Hit X. Delete. So go to File, Import, GLB. Now I need to find that folder, 3D Fox tutorial, GLB. Boom. All right. So okay. See, the skeleton in this one is different. So I click that, go to pose. Oh, okay, okay. Oh no, we might be more in the money with this. Let's see. All right. So yeah, it has animations here. I selected all of it. I'm gonna come here, delete the keyframes. All right, so oh no, but see, remember this, Ben? Remember, remember I told you about this before?
Oh yeah, I remember you said
I don't
something
know
about
what
that.
does that.
It's because
So
it
that's
was
why I did the
animated.
mixamo thing.
Yeah.
I forgot I did mess with this before. But you see, for some reason, it does this like Spider Man or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Spider Fox. It got the colors too. I mean, hey.
yeah, I love the colors, right? No, the tail is good. See, the tail moves. We don't have any interference with the tail. Let's see. Yeah, the head moves fine. It's something about the hands and the arms. I don't know. Whenever I move the arms, like you see that. But no, if we could figure out why that is, it's something wrong with the way it's rigged. I don't know what they used, but yeah, for some reason it's doing that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's why we have two
yeah,
files. The one is
but
animated, the other isn't.
right, but I removed it. I removed the animation. That's why I'm not understanding why it does this. I'm gonna have to do some research to figure out if there's a way on our end to kind of get rid of that. Cause let me see. I think if I do this and then yeah, see, you can see it in the render. This is a random animation. But yeah, you see it sticking out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's about. Maybe you could even ask them, see if they have a fix. I remember you talked to them before. Man, I don't know if they learned anything new of why, but yeah, if we could figure this out, then this will be even better for you guys to mess around with because it does have a tail and everything. But otherwise, like I said, we'll do a more advanced one, a session where we can mess around with setting up a T pose from scratch. See if we can get it a little bit better. But this one looks good. It's just for some reason it's doing that with the, you know, it's something with the hands for sure. Like, cause it doesn't do it from nowhere else. It's just the hands. So like when it moves, somehow how they rig the hand. Yeah, cause the hand does like looking at it does look weird. It doesn't have anything here. Like it's like it starts here and then they rig the fingers, but where's they didn't connect this. You see it?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it's like maybe that's why because this portion here isn't connected to the skeleton, so when you move it, it pulls. That's what it's looking like. But anyway, so I mean, pretty much we've went over like how to utilize Mixamo in the meantime, and then you can get your file. So don't worry about the GLB file. You can just use the GLB file if you want that walking animation and want to make a video or something with that. And I'll show you guys how to render animation and stuff like that. In another one.
Yeah,
But well,
the GLB
huh?
is really for augmented reality and stuff like that, and the
Oh,
FBX is really the one that we'd be using.
for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I guess.
Well, actually, it doesn't take long to show you how. a render works. So I'll just render something from this. Don't worry about the Spider-Man hands. So, all right, to move the origin point, you can hold shift and then right click. And then wherever you do that at, that's where it'll put it. So I'm only doing this because I want to add a new camera. So if I go up to add here and then go down to camera, boom, we get a new camera. So now if I grab this, it's highlighted. I can go over here to this. This is the camera view. So if I click that, or whether it's on the other one. All right, so I need to make sure I had this one highlighted, which is the new camera. So all right, I grabbed this. Right now you can only see the tail because of where it's positioned, but if I grab G just like I would do anything else, I can move it. And then I go to Y. I can zoom in and out. I can hit G, Z, go up and down. G, X, move left to right. So I'm not going to do nothing too technical right now, but let's see. I got it on cycles, so I'm going to just add in. I got some other stuff in mind. This is like later stuff too. So I got these pretty much like plugins in. So I can go to my asset browser. And then now I got all these different 3D photo files and models and all this stuff in here. And this is free too, by the way. So for whoever's interested, I'll be showing you how to get this stuff later too. But it's taking a minute to load up for some reason. But let's see, drop that in there. I need to be in cycles mode. So as you can see, like it just adds like a background. I think you can mess with the scale of it too. So it's different ones, bunch of different stuff, and each one has like a different lighting setup. So, so like then, all right, I don't have anything at the bottom, but if I wanted to put a floor, oops, I could put the viewport back here. I mean the origin point, and I go to add mesh plane. So that pretty much like creates a floor. It's a little off because it's not right in the middle, so I want to put that right back. Another thing about cycles mode, which is this last one over here, is that it's more intensive in terms of loading. So you pretty much want to do all your editing in Eevee, which is the one right next to it, because then you don't have to worry about it taking long to load up. So you can scale this out by grabbing the floor, hitting S, and then just pulling it out, pulling it in, however you want. All right, so now we kind of got a floor there. Got a background. Then I have all these different textures here. So if I wanted this ground rock, I could drag and drop that. Now we got like some dirt. It's kind of high up for some reason though. Got mud. So there's a bunch of different stuff within this library that I have. Um, but yeah, certain situations for some reason, the way it's positioned, you gotta move it. So I can do that. And then all right, cool. So now that's set up. I'm gonna do a easier render setting just so it's like it doesn't take forever. So I'm just put this on 100. This is under the render settings, which is here. So you go over here. This section right here deals with the actual render. This right here deals with the viewport. So this is considered the viewport. So this is just the loading here. How many samples are in it is just like similar to that polygon thing I mentioned earlier, where like the more polygons there were in the bad key, the harder it will be to load. So same thing here, but so yeah, the viewport is this, and then actual render is here. So all right, cool. So got a basic scene, nothing special, nothing fancy, nothing we really want, but just for uh display purposes. So now I would hit F. You can either hit F12, that's the hotkey to render, or you can go up in this top here, click render, then render image. And so if I click that, this is going to pop up. And now we got this loading up. It's loading all the samples here. It's only 100, so it won't take super long in this. And this isn't like a beauty or anything, but just pretty much just to show you how it works, in terms of rendering once you got your pose and everything. Um, so yeah, it's taking a little minute. And there's other settings we can mess with to render and make your render go faster. Pretty much, I don't want to go too deep into that because that gets super technical. So like, if anybody is like having trouble rendering, just like reach out and then I'll give you some tips on some stuff you could try out to see if it helps your renders go faster. Um, But yeah, as you see, now we're generating the image. Pretty much almost done. Is at 80. Um, yeah, not that difficult, right? Or hope it didn't seem that difficult. But yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah,
how you rig,
it seemed pretty
pose.
simple.
Yeah, rig, pose, and create an animated. I mean, not animated, but like an image within Blender. And so now you probably can get a gist of how animation works. Same similar thing, but just it'll just be moving, of course. Yeah, there's so much you can do in Blender though. Like so much. It's almost like a rabbit hole. Like I'm so focused on one portion of it, but there's so many. Like you got you got the photography aspect. Like that's pretty much what you could say we dealt with today, posing and. We didn't even touch lighting or none of that stuff. We just used the default lighting and some of those setups that you saw me drag and drop. There's like so much. There's so many different like tweaks and settings you can do. Like that's why people are able to make so like literally this is something that a big studio like Pixar uses, you know what I mean, for their animating their films. Like you can do stuff of that level. Let me see something. I'm gonna see if Blender still has that movie on their website. I'll just show a little bit of it. Um let me see Blender just to kind of show you like what people have created in this. It was on the front page, but you see like they're showing you animation and rigging. See, I didn't even know the whole you can do 2D in here too. I had to check that out. But see, it's like so much like it's so many aspects to this. Like I didn't know about the video editing. So like that was a new thing that I came across that you can do video editing inside of Blender. Cause what I was doing at first was bouncing it out of here and using a different software called Final Cut. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. Cause it used to be right on the front page. Um, okay, here we go. Just to show you, like they made this in Blender. Not bad, right?
Not bad. That was freaking amazing. You say they made that clip in Blender alone?
Ain't
Sheesh.
that yeah. Blender, bro. Blender, man. There's so much you can do in it. Like it's amazing that this they made this open source and just anybody can tap in with it. Great software. Great software. Like no matter what aspect, if you want to get into the 3D modeling, like you want to actually learn the modeling of assets, which that's something I got to work on more. I've done it to an extent. We can do a session on that one day. Just something like kind of freestyle, or like we go over like the basics, and then like have another time where we come in and like people can kind of just mess around and then show what they're doing, stuff like that. But yeah, Blender is powerful.
I can't wait to start playing around with my foxes. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah. It's a great thing to do in your spare time. Like, especially if you're looking to like learn something new. It's like you can really create a whole world, whole another world, Like starting with just like photos, then getting into animation, and who knows? I just want to see what people make. That's the reason why I'm doing this, just sharing what I know and what I've learned, just to see what people create. I've been saying that for a while, man. That's like the major thing or the thing that I aim to inspire or like see out of the community is just people create stuff or learn like new skills and stuff. But yeah, you're welcome, Nelsie. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys. It's been about an hour. I'll try to do these, if not every week, every other week for sure, and we can jump back in here. And if anybody ever like, if you learn anything and you want to bring it up, like, hey, look, I want to show y'all something that I did in Blender, or I learned this thing in Blender. I want to show y'all. Like, then you can start. Like the event stage and everything, and the voice channel is open. I mean, it's open now. I didn't know it was locked at first, but yeah, like you could just do stuff in here, man. Like, and invite us to it. Like, it doesn't just have to be us. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. Excuse me. Just something to keep in mind. But yeah, like I said, I'll aim to try to do these, as soon as possible. But let's keep it around an hour because it is a recording, and don't want to keep it too long. So you can go ahead and shut it down whenever, Ben. Pleasure having you guys tune in. Hope you got something cool out of it. And till next time, we're gonna get it in. We're gonna keep growing with the software and with creating with the foxes, 3D foxes now. I want to jump into like some of these games and stuff like that, like loading avatars into that. So that's something that I'll be exploring. Some other platforms, saying what platforms we can implement our foxes into. Uh, that just take 3D models, and then we can do that. Do a session with that as well. Just how that process is. Yep.